Happy New Year! It's Diane Michael
and Sabrina Mesmer
with the Callan Group. This is our third vlog and our first for 2012. And today we're going to discuss return on investment and what you're doing with your marketing that works for you and what things you should maybe try and or take a look at refreshing.
All right, thank you. A lot of things going into the new year. You want to decide what works best for you. There's all different kinds of marketing out there, whether it be print advertisement in magazines, radio, billboards, websites, social media, and so on. And different
newsletters.
Email newsletters, of course. You have to figure out what works best for you and your company. Who is your target age group, who's your target audience, etc., and what kind of marketing do they look at?
Mm-hmm. And what are you spending? A lot of our customers are really happy with our affordable prices. And we always say that we are targeted in the price range for small businesses because we are looking to establish clients forever, not just for a season. So you really should be looking at what came from your marketing efforts in 2011 if you haven't done so already, and then map out this year. And definitely it's recommended to be spending 5 to 10% of your gross revenues on marketing to develop new business and to retain current business. So when you are reviewing what you've spent money on and where you're going, look and also find out what return on your investment did you have. Our newsletters, we sometimes will take, okay, you sent 20,000 emails out this month and you're spending $300 a month. So the return on the investment is huge depending on what the product and the call to action are.
Absolutely. A great thing to look at also is when you figure out what works for you, make sure what you have out there is the exact representation of the company that you want. So you want to make sure that a company doesn't take your logo or your brand and change it the way they like it, because it's the way you want it to look, and you want to make sure that it's brand consistency. It's a huge issue, and a lot of marketing companies like to put their own spin on things, which changes your look, might change your logo, might change the idea of what you're trying to go behind with your marketing and with your company. So you want to be careful that you're consistent with the remarketing and people will recognize it, whether it be from if you had an advertisement in a magazine, an advertisement on the radio, an advertisement on a billboard. You want to make sure that they're all very similar and they all have the exact same logo so people recognize it every time they see it.
Yep, top of mind awareness is so important, and in the marketing world they say that it takes 7 hits or 7 views to actually resonate your brand inside someone's brain. I don't know how they gauge that, but that's what they say. But kind of tying on the lines of what Sabrina is saying is that the websites are what we mimic in our newsletters. So if you go to our website, thecallangrp.com, and you look at our samples, some of them might be, rotating images and beautiful colors and very clean and crisp. Others may be what we like to call publisher style, where the logo was done by their second grader 5 years ago, and that's what they've stuck with. And a lot of times it doesn't need to be this gorgeous piece as long as you're representing your business the way that you want it to look. So our samples will show very, very different looks, from very high end to very clean and crisp and very simple, because what we do is we represent and mimic the look of the website that's currently already there. And some of our clients don't even have a website. They rely only on the newsletter to communicate their message out there. But it's very important, like Sabrina said, to mimic the look so that when people start seeing those colors, that tagline, that logo, that they're thinking of you and, oh yeah, I need to go in and get a pair of shoes. Oh yeah, I need to go to that event next month. Oh yeah. So very important.
Another great big thing about whether it's on your website or just your marketing tools, a part of the Callan Group is because we do everything custom, everything is done differently. So you may look at one person's newsletter and say, oh my gosh, I love it, this is exactly what I want. And you may look at another newsletter and say, that's not what I want. Well, that's what they wanted. It's perfect. Everything is done custom and created specific for some companies. So as Diane was mentioning a little bit before, Some newsletters are a page and a half and are very informative because they have a lot of events and specials going on, whereas some looks is it's a great big picture of a beautiful diamond ring, just to let you know that they have some of the top best jewelry in town.
Right.
So it just depends on what your look is and what you're going for and what you feel attracts people. And we create everything custom for you.
Yeah, and the websites, what we find, real quick to just add on to that, because I would say 90% of our customers, and correct me if I'm wrong, haven't updated their websites in a year. And it's very important to have a newsletter or a communication that you are reaching out to your customer base, to your prospects, to your friends and family, because not everybody's going to your website. And if you can look at your marketing budget and budget for your website being updated on a regular basis, that newsletter is going to be a vehicle to drive traffic to your website. So if we get people to go to your website and then there's not very much information there that's current, that might be a turnoff. But a lot of times people are getting away from websites as well because they can't afford to keep up with it. They don't have the time to keep up with it. So they rely on the newsletter. And a lot of people say, well, I'll wait to do a newsletter until I get a website up. No, it's not that way. The newsletters will go into an inbox, go to the phone, so that emails come to your customers instead of relying on your customers finding you online. And again, that is the look that you want to mimic your brand, whatever your business cards have on it, your stationery, your sign out front of your office. You want it all to be the same so that people start remembering every time they see that email that it is coming from you.
Absolutely. The great thing about that is you want to make sure what you're putting out there, make it pop, make it really interesting, make it visually attractive. And that's actually why quite a few people hire us. And that's why you hire professionals to do your website if you're not a website designer, because you want to make it look professional. You want to make and advertise the best that you can for your company, make it in the best representation. Quite a few of my clients have not updated their website since they became a company, however many years ago. And it's just part of, maintaining your marketing and keeping on track so that you have the best representation of your company out there and you're advertising in the best possible way. If you don't like the look, make sure you change it, whether it be on your website or your advertisements. Most all advertisements, companies, any marketing companies, including us, will gladly change anything to make it fit what you want, make sure it's looking the exact way that you want it to. And everybody should be flexible in that way. And, actually there are quite a few companies out there that are able to update your website for you at quite a low cost or by hour. So it can be quite affordable.
So just to wrap up, I think that you definitely should be reviewing your marketing efforts and your return on your investment. And remember that with newsletters, we can take any advertising that you have, whether it be a billboard, an ad on a magazine, a clip on the radio, a video on YouTube. We can take those and maximize the visual effects by adding them to your newsletter. So
Absolutely.
Keep that in mind with all your marketing.
That's a great thing to think about. I meant to mention that earlier when you were saying, it's a vehicle. The great thing about, whether not having a website or you're planning on having a website or you're planning on having it updated, the great thing about a newsletter is it not only comes directly to them, but it drives traffic to whatever part of your marketing or wherever you want them to go. So sometimes people are in the midst of getting a website done, but they don't have one yet, which is just fine. So they have people get the newsletter, and it drives traffic to their Facebook page where they have updates, whether it be daily or weekly or monthly. So it can drive traffic to other places that they are marketing and using for information. So it's a great way to drive traffic, whether it be to your website or your Facebook page or your LinkedIn, or actually a nonprofit company that you're working with, wherever you want it to go. So,
a phone number, an email address, it's that call to action, and we should talk about a call to action in future ones.
Absolutely. So tune in for the next one.
And if you have any recommendations, you can post down below on what you want to learn about, because we can definitely talk.
All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Bye.